Welcome back to Signals on 91.3 Lagos Talks. This morning, last Saturday, I think the rain and the sun are sort of doing the battle. If you look up this guy, you're having rain, you're having sun. We'll be having the nitty-gritty of PRs. PR means public relations. Some say that PR is a lie. Some say bad PR is good PR. However they say it, PR is a vital but often misunderstood promotional tactic if you're considering hiring a PR firm, but you're not sure if it's worth it. You already have a PR team, but don't know what to actually do all day. We have with us, he's a graduate of sociology from OOU. Agoiwoye. He is a strategic and creative individual and brings with him a unique blend of over 10 years of local and international experience in the field of PR, strategy, brand management, strategic planning and event management, business development, marketing, and corporate communication. Then let me go down a bit. He believes that the work... okay, I must read the second one. This diverse background has equipped him with the knowledge and tools needed to consistently deliver and help clients achieve their aims and objectives. His expertise cuts across all facets of integrated marketing communication industry. He provides both consultancy and advisory work in developing strategic communication plans that help organizations bring their stories to life. Can I go to the last paragraph?
No, read whatever you want to read, my friend.
Now, he believes that the work of communication is valuable in building a successful brand and brands and craft narratives that helps a brand to connect with its consumers in line with his overall business goals. I have with me Olufunso Adeolu, not the actor, but the PR consultant. Welcome to Signals.
Thank you, Oshodi. Oshodi, okay.
Me too, look, calm down. We're coming down small.
Okay.
So, welcome to Signals once again. And if you're
Thank you
just
for having me.
joining us, it's Signals, and we're talking the nitty-gritty of PR. Okay. So they say PR is a lie. What do you think?
No, PR is definitely not a lie. We experience PR practically in all facets of life and in business, either whether consciously or unconsciously. We just do not know that it's PR. In fact, some of the things we see, read, hear, or are influenced by is driven largely at times by public relations.
Okay, so PR is not a lie. Because I knew there was a debate for a very long time. They say good PR, they say bad PR, anything bad that makes you in front of everybody, in everybody's faces. Is it that good or bad? What are your thoughts?
PR there is nothing like all PR is good PR. Let me use a realistic example.
Go ahead, please.
There was an issue a while back about a bank MD that was alleged to have had something to do with the staff. Now, it was a personal issue for him, but because he was a top management staff in the bank, it affected the bank's image such that the bank had to send him on a forcible, was it leave or retirement? I can't recall. So that is bad PR, and it affected the bank's brand image. But then again, let's look at good PR.
Okay.
Yeah, the recent donation by
Our
Davido. Yes, he started as a joke, but eventually it became a massive show of love, such that
massive show of love. I mean,
Yeah,
massive
yeah,
show
as
of
in-
ego tripping.
No. So I'm not talking about from the people donating now. I'm
Okay.
talking about the effect it had on him, and that one way that even rubbed off on the bank that he used,
Yeah.
such that the bank couldn't wait for him to come back.
Had
They
to
had
go
to fly
to
go and
Dubai.
exactly, because they
Oh, yeah,
saw
big.
the goodwill that was generated from that gesture. And recently, that gesture also got Davido himself on CNN. I don't know if he has featured on CNN before, but that gesture put him on CNN at that period. So I mean, that is good PR.
So, as business owners, at least I'm sure that you heard a lot of people call. What can they do to boost themselves to be in the eyes of people?
So boosting yourself in the eyes of
Your
people,
customers, your clients, new investors. What do you do that would make you be in front of them with no money?
Well, it depends on the strategy you decide to use, actually, and it depends on what the goal you're trying to achieve. For instance, if it's if you're trying to sell a product, you have to look for creative ways if you're trying to keep things to a minimum creative ways to put that product in the eyes of the people. Let me use another example. So when Elon Musk was going to open his gigafactory in Berlin, Germany, first of all, he had some issues. They were saying there were environmental concerns, it was going to affect the water in that area and everything. So what did Elon Musk do? He sat back and said, okay, while building the factory, or I think maybe the factory had been completed, he threw it open to the public. Come and see how we build our Tesla cars from A to Z. And he gave special preference to residents within that community where the factory was built. This had a twofold effect. He was showing you how the cars were built to show you that there is no environmental fallout from building our cars. That's one. He was winning over the people in that community by giving them VIP treatment to come and see that, to come and see the factory, to come and visit the factory. So definitely that's going to generate goodwill for him. So in a sense, he didn't really have to do any communications. The people were going to do that communication for him. So that is
that's how
that was a PR strategy too.
But you know, sometimes it can be confusing because people say that, oh, I want to be in the eyes of people, but they don't know how to go about it. They say that, oh, I want to make a lot of noise. And then if you're talking to people and say, okay, let's make a lot of noise, they're expecting ROI immediately. So how do we tell people that, yes, you can be in the eyes of people, but you might not necessarily generate the return on investment that you want?
So that's another confusion that people tend to make. PR is not marketing per se. Marketing is, like it says, marketing. The end product is making sales. PR basically is building goodwill and influencing the perception of your consumers to make them, to allow them make that conscious decision to go and buy your product. So PR is not an immediate strategy. At the long run, it does contribute to your sales, but the objective of PR is not sales.
Okay, so there's this recent fight between PR, public relations personnels, and journalists. They don't like each other. Why do you think that is?
Because the major reason is because public relations is not journalism. I keep telling people that people have the perception that public relations is just about writing press releases and issuing it out to the media. It's more than that. It's also about knowing when to communicate and how to communicate.
So let's talk about communications in itself. What's the major job of public relations? We're talking nitty-gritty, so let's be poking holes everywhere. What's the major communication tool that would differentiate the journalists and the people? Because you people don't like each other. Sometimes we get called and like, no.
So
explain the business side of it for us.
The business side is that public relations is about managing the spread of information. And when you say managing the spread of information in this new age, especially with digital media and everything, it's not just exactly and fake news. So it's not just, like I said, about issuing press releases to the media. You also have to connect to your audience in an authentic way also, because it's all about authenticity. You can't, PR is also about telling the truth strategically. We try not to lie in PR.
Telling the truth strategically.
Yes, telling the truth strategically.
But you and I know that there's some you get a client and you and I know that it's a no. So no, I'm not going to use that. That's a very let's look at any celebrity that got into chaos, into problems, and they always say that you can tell a good story. You can spin it around. I always hear the word spin it around. But there's some jobs that you cannot just spin around. How do you now work your way around it? The case in my head is R. Kelly, but no, I don't want to use R. Kelly. I'm looking for some news that is so bad and you have to come and say, let me use politicians. They'll come and say, yes, I'm going to, but we both know that you are going to lie to us. But we still want to believe.
So what you're saying basically is public relations for a bad product.
Yes,
that is difficult. That can be difficult, but it also depends. If we're looking at doing PR for individuals, because individuals do also do PR. Now, if you're doing PR for an individual, it also depends on the personality of that person. If that person is willing to abide by the things that you do, set out the rules you set out for him. Of course, the situation can be turned around. Like I said, if the person is willing to make the effort. So there's actually nothing you can't sell. For instance, let me use our uncle. I'm not going to mention his name in the communication space. Here. He has that.
Our major uncle. No, go ahead.
He has a reputation of not saying the truth. He's not. That is not PR.
Okay,
that is propaganda.
That's misinformation.
That is misinformation.
Okay.
Yeah. It's always better to. Yeah, like I said, PR is about telling the truth strategically. Admit and then say what you are going to do to change either the situation on ground or people's perception.
Okay, so let's go a little bit, and I stand on all protocols. Cautiously, let's look at the recent NSAS case. We know stuff happen, but our daddies in the government are saying no. How do you think they could have? Because for a lot of people, they were like, just tell us the truth that stuff happened, right? But they go the other way, and we're like, no, that's not what happened. And then the truth is out and all of that. What do you think that could have been done better?
That's where earlier I mentioned if your
product
or your
it's bad.
Your organization or the person basically you're working for is ready to walk the walk and do the work. So first things first, before the issue escalated at all, they should have nipped it in the bud. There was a brief research on the NSAS I was reading. It started with an incident in Delta where it was alleged that the police shot an individual.
Yes.
Now, if the police had come out right there and then that, oh, we saw this, because before it became a protest, the noise was already online in social media everywhere. The unrest was already on social media. If they had done something to nip it in the bud right there and then probably saying, okay, we will investigate, and then going a step further, arresting those officers, identifying them, and saying that they were being charged to court, that would have gone a long way into quelling the situation. Exactly.
But then it's skyrocketed.
Yes, it escalated. And the major escalation again was because of the introduction of force against unarmed protesters. I mean, that's I don't know who gave them that advice, but that was uncalled for.
As a PR to the government, if you just happen to take that job, you know, you can always give advice to, okay, clients do this. You know, clients, there's a problem with clients and Brave. Now you tell them that, oh, okay, so let's do it this way. And they don't listen to you just for the sake of they are stuck in their ways. How do you walk around stubborn clients?
You need to know what you are doing. You yourself as a PR person, if you know what you are doing, I mean, you're not able to convince a client I believe that if you know what you're doing, you should be able to convince the client to see things your way. For example, you are telling me that you want to sell your products to the youth, and then you're telling me that, oh, okay, I want to sell my products to the youth. Is a youth product. Let's put it out in the print media. Let's put it out on this. Let's put it out on that. That's not your channel to reach the youth. And I'll tell you as a professional that if you want to reach the youth, the best channel for you to use would probably be social media. Now, if you insist, I will tell you and I will make sure that it's well documented, because of course I want to also make money. So I'm not going to refuse the job, but I will make it plain that you cannot achieve what you want to achieve if we do it your way. However, because you have said we should do it your way and you're paying, I will do it your way. And at the end of the day, if it backfires, I'll tell you, but we laid it out to you that you could not achieve it this way. So I mean,
why these clients from hell? Now, speaking of social media, everything on social media can be used for or against you. What should be one's approach towards brand communication on social media?
Brand communication on social media basically has to do with authenticity. You need to be authentic when you're communicating on social media, and because it is also immediate, basically, it's nice, especially if you are dealing in, for instance, like a bank, that people are always coming online and complaining about services. you don't leave those kind of situations unchecked, because, like I said, it's all about perception, the way people perceive you. Now, if people are making complaints and you are ignoring them, it's going to leave a bad taste in their mouth. So we always recommend that social media, you have a proactive social media team that is well versed in the business you do, so that if they do raise a concern, you are able to tackle it immediately. And if you are not, you tell the individual that, oh, okay, we have noted your complaints, we will take it a step further, reach out to you and try and resolve your issue. It's all about communication. Everybody likes being talked to. Nobody likes being ignored. So if you see that they are reaching out and making an effort.
So what then do you do to trolls?
Trolls, there will always be trolls. You cannot have 100% positive online presence. There will always be trolls. So where you see that they are just trolling for trolling's sake, you try to ignore them. But when you see that they are trolling to affect the image of your band, you take a strong stance and try and refute whatever narrative you are trying to push.
Now let's leave bank a little. Let's come back to small businesses. Like, I have shirts to sell, I have cake to sell, I have clothes to sell, and there's the issue of what I ordered versus what I got. There are a lot of issues online generally that sometimes people don't know. People are just stuck. And then there's this thing that they say that, oh, my truth, telling your truth. And you and I know that telling your truth has become to tell lie in a truthful way. Not strategically like you have said,
Yeah.
but they always want to say, oh, speak your truth, even when you know that you've hurt other people. And they want to know how well you are handling it. What do you think? What are your thoughts on it?
Like I said, it's always admit your faults. For instance, if you make or preempt the issues, it's all about preparation. You mentioned selling shirts. If you are selling a shirt and somebody orders a shirt online, first of all, you should sell what you are giving the person should be what you have advertised.
With
Now,
pictures, with nice camera angle that you'll not even know.
So that's the problem with online
Sure.
shopping.
Yes, now you see fine picture, and then but you say, okay, let me buy, and then when you get there,
So that is more of a marketing issue, because that person has sold a bad product to you. But in the case that, for instance, I am selling what you ordered is actually what I give to you, and then you are trying to malign my image online, you'll be like, you, of course, as the person that had the stock, should be able to have the picture of your own stock. You should be able to have, and then you are able to show maybe from your point of purchase to when you displayed it, and then as against what the person is showing. It's all about consistency and speaking your truth.
Truth. Yeah, for sure, truth.
Yeah, truth. Because at the end of the day, if you do lie and someone catches you out, what you have done is you have actually collaborated what that person is saying, and which is that, oh, okay, this person is actually lying. If the person is able to catch you out in a lie.
How would you define the word reputation, and how does this relate to peer?
Your reputation basically is how you want people to see you, and how you work towards ensuring that people see you. Because it's one thing to say that, okay, this is who I am, and it's another thing for people to say that this is what you are. So your reputation should be what you say you are and what people say you are. In fact, I'd rather go with what people, there should be a match in what you're trying to communicate and the way people see you. For instance, now when I met you, people used to say you're a stubborn person. That was your rep.
That's even good, because I have people who say that. Okay. So there's this thing that I said. They say, oh, if you meet her, she'll tell you the first thing. She'll tell you two things. If you're annoying her, she'll tell you I'll kiss you just to get you on point. Or if she's trying to get your attention, she'll say, I'm talking about myself in third party. I'll blow you, but I'm not stubborn. I'm very gentle. But really, why?
So you see, but the reputation you have out there is that you are stubborn. So you need to work on your rep. Come on, hire me. Let me manage your personal image.
They've tried. I'll send them packing. Okay, now in terms of personal image, a lot of times people want to show this personality as against who they really are. How then do you strike a balance between the stubborn person and the very gentle person, very resourceful?
So that's not you being authentic. You know what I said was, Pierre is about speaking your position, selling your message in the right way. So if you are trying to portray what you're not, it's not an authentic message.
There's
a
some
contradiction.
brands, there's some personal brands. I think there's this movie called Our Brand is Crisis. Our brand, I don't know, it's about the politician who they tried to use PR to engage, but they knew that the man was a dictator and the man was another Gaddafi. So they sort of tried to portray him in that line, and all of the promises that he made that they won't do this. The moment they made him president, the country became chaos. There's some people who have how do I put it? Not stubborn. They like to, they thrive in chaos. How do you manage those kind of personalities? They thrive. They are chaotic human beings. How do you now?
How do you manage a chaotic human being?
Yes, a chaotic brand. They are they would always cause trouble. Their signature is violence. Yes. And they thrive and they make money off it.
Well, if they're making money off it, then you own it. That means that is who you are. Then you own it. You own it. There's a real estate company in Nigeria here that some people took umbrage at the way they advertised.
Yes.
But yeah, he owned it. It's a luxury product, and he owned it proudly with his chest. Which is true. It's not everybody that can afford it. So if you can't afford it, look away.
Some people
were offended.
Yeah,
some people were offended. But then again, we all know that some particular category of people like that kind of communication. That, oh yes, it's only me that has it. It's only me that can afford it.
They're prouding.
There is an electronics company, international electronics company, that tailors their messaging the same way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So meaning that you have to.
If it's working for you, own it, and then that is the narrative you push.
But you know, there's some people who would not like to buy from you. They like your chaoticness, but they would not want to be associated with you. And you want to target those kind of people.
They are not your target market. You can't target them. They are not your audience. So there's no way that you can say that you want to target them. It's just like a let me look for an example. It's just like for a beer brand to say that it wants to target church-going people.
In hell,
there's a mismatch. They are not your target audience. So, or saying that because they are church people in the consumer space, you are going to limit your watch the way you communicate. It can't work. They are not your target market. So face your target market and communicate what you want to communicate to those people.
In executing PR strategies and tactics, we hear buzzwords like transparency and authenticity, like you have been saying this morning. We use them without having a clear meaning. How do I have an authentic brand voice and present myself in a transparent fashion on social media?
How do I have an authentic brand voice? It's all about knowing what your brand itself stands for.
Okay, so let's assume that you're standing as a stubborn brand.
If you're standing as a stubborn brand, then you own it. You own your stubbornness. So, for instance, there are some social media personalities that they are known for their bass boosts. That if you attack them online, they will give it back to you. Yes. So that is, and they have owned it. So you see very few people treading with caution when they are going to those people's pages. And some people will be like, oh yes, because maybe some unknown person will be like, oh, I want to trend a bit, or I want my name out there. They will
want to associate themselves with them.
Those people, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Now, for somebody buzzing and for somebody saying that they want to become a PR person, what should they have in their toolkit?
First of all, you need to be creative. You need to know how to communicate. And when I say communicate, it's in terms of writing, in terms of speaking, in terms of thinking on your feet. Because one key aspect of PR is also crisis and issues management. Crisis can come up from anywhere. So you need to be able to think on your feet and not make a knee-jerk reaction to whatever crisis it is.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, it's still Signals on 91.3, and we're having Olufunso Adeolu, who is a public relations expert. If you have a question or comment, WhatsApp us 0809 234 5913. or call us 0809 191 3913 or 0809 222 0913 or 015151 913. We're talking the nitty-gritty of PR. In your opinion, is a career in public relations worth it?
It is worth it, actually. It's actually a very interesting industry, because you get to work in various industries. I've had experience in telecoms, I've had experience with finance, I've had experience in oil and gas, I've had experience in...
So there's a place for somebody.
Yeah.
They decide that it's PR that they want to do.
If you decide that you want to do PR, like I said, if you have what it takes, there's a place for you.
Okay then. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning.
Okay, good morning. My name is Chika. I'm from
Chika from VI.
I'm enjoying your guest. Like, I was just, you just said something that don't make me laugh, especially, when he spoke about the left that own their truth, they said it when it is, and he was very spot on with that.
Thank you, Chika.
You need to first of all know your brand, and then know exactly how you want to be portrayed out there, which that company spoke about, this justice. So, he just needs to understand your target market. You can just go. So well done. Very, very interesting.
Thank you
so much.
Thank
Enjoying
you.
your show.
Thank you very much. Okay, call us 009 234 5913. Why are you laughing?
I know my own. I know my own.
See, let me be nice, because if I say what's in my head for you. Now, a lot of times, people will say they don't have budget for PR. And I'm sure that you always face that in the 10 years
Yes,
and more of experience that you have. People tell you that I have 200k. What can I do with 200k? And they are looking at them like, do you know what you are saying? But again, so let's come with somebody who has 200,000 naira and wants to do PR. What should they do?
Your objective also matters. What are you yourself trying to achieve, first of all? Because you can't just say, I want to do PR.
I want to, okay, so let's do example. I want to be in people's faces.
You want to be in people's faces. That's not an objective. So you want to be in people's faces. How? For what?
I want them
Do you
to
want
know.
to sell? Do you want to sell? Okay, for instance, now you have the program Signals. Do you want to sell Signals, or do you want to sell Oshodi?
Adewunmi Oshodi.
I'm sorry, Adewunmi Oshodi.
My friend, let's help.
So which one? What do you want to
Signals. I know it's
sell?
Adewunmi.
So you want to sell Signals. So the way I'd communicate to sell Signals is different from the way I'd communicate to sell yourself.
Adewunmi Oshodi.
Exactly.
Okay, but
Let me just go with your Oshodi that time.
generally. So if they're saying, but sometimes you know that people don't have clear objectives. They don't.
Yeah.
So how do you, as a PR person, explain to them that you need to be clear about what you want?
Yeah, we do face that a lot. So first things first, when we get a brief or when someone reaches out, the first thing we do is have an onboarding meeting. So the onboarding meeting basically is helping you yourself get clarity on what you want to do. So from that meeting, we are able to pick your brain and then craft an objective for you or a goal for you.
Okay.
And then based on that.
So what's the first thing you ask me when you're doing your onboarding session?
Yeah, so what do you want to do? And then you say,
I want to be in people's
yeah,
faces.
and like I just asked you now, do you want to be in people's faces for yourself or for your program? And then you have said for your program. So from there, what do you want for your program? And then from there, we start breaking it down.
Because the other
And then so we get
questions
the
would be
program
like, I remember somebody wanted to do prayer for me, and I'm always running. Hey, and the top of my top of head answer that I gave the person was, okay, so you don't want to be a one-hit wonder. How do you consistently be in people's faces? You're not shouting, but you're consistently in their faces. How do you know? What's the process you want to take the person through?
For your business, one of the things you have to do is consistent communication. Because the more you say it, the more people get to hear it. And then once people do see that, oh, you're walking the talk, basically, like you're saying that you're selling this program, it's reaching out to SMEs, and then someone decides that, okay, let me even listen in, and then they see that people are actually calling in, and then maybe some of your callers are saying that, oh, we got so and so advice from here. Then your program gradually is building that niche for itself as a program for SMEs that helps and assists SMEs. So from there, yeah, exactly. Your callers themselves too are selling your business, and your brand is growing.
Now, in the 10 years experience that you had, what's that one thing that you have seen? 15. You're expecting white hair on your head, so sorry. Let me recheck the white hair on your head first.
Over 15, sir.
Okay, so over 15.
Yes.
And you have worked with different brands. Yeah. What's that one thing that you have seen so far? Continue.
What's that one thing in what sense?
That you have seen across all the brands, and that you have also learned for yourself.
One thing that I've seen is that clients will always ask you for more than what they paid for.
Okay.
And you as a PR person, because it's all about managing relationships too, that's a key aspect of PR. You have to be able to manage that relationship. Yeah. And yeah, where you can, because it's also showing that you can give them added value beyond the services that they have asked for. So where you can accommodate those requests, try and accommodate it, and if possible, where it's not costing you anything, show them that this is the value that you have brought to their business. And when they do that, because that is what will keep them coming back, that, oh, I had this guy, he did this for me, it was successful, let me reach out to him. And they themselves will even recommend you to other clients.
Okay. So, you have enjoyed it, how far with the money aspect of it?
If there was no money, PR companies wouldn't keep springing up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, for someone looking, everyone is always looking into career in different courses. For someone looking into PR, wait, when is your truth not enough?
When is your truth not enough?
Yes.
When is your truth not enough? When is your truth not enough? When emotions get into it, that's when your truth is not enough. Then you have to go the extra mile. For instance, you are a hospital, and then a patient dies in your hospital. The doctors did all they could to save the patient's life, but the patient still died. A life was lost. Your truth, which is that your doctors did all they could, they are professionals in their field, they use the best equipment, it's not enough. Somebody still died. Emotions have come in. What are you going to do then?
Yeah.
What are you going to do then? You have to consider the emotional aspect. It's not enough for you to say, well, the patient died. It's not our fault. We did our best. First things first, you have to show empathy to the family and the loved ones. So in that kind of situation, before, you have to manage it right from the onset. Right from the onset.
Because okay, go ahead.
And of course, like I said, emotions will everly.
And so how do we manage emotions?
It's difficult. First of all, you have to manage. If you're able to manage the immediate family, half of your work is done. If you're able to make them see and take them through it step by step, and then give them the option, because if you're trying to make it seem like you're hiding stuff from them, that leads to suspicion. But if you're able to take them through it step by step and be like, you know what, if you even want to get a second opinion, go ahead and do that. And if the second opinion is in line with what you have said, it goes a long way in calming down the emotion. Yeah.
Okay then. So, because away from hospital, there are other people who come, they tell you some facts, some are not, the stories are not complete, and you're wondering, you're left with more. And again, because we're funny human beings, we're funny people, where I'm like, I've done it for you, I've sold this stuff for you, why should I? Because for every time they say customer is king, and we have mediocre business owners who, they're like, we've given you everything, and what else again do you want? And just the client or the consumer might just be like, just listen to me more. And me too, that I'm selling service to you, I'm tired. So how do I bridge it?
So you as a service person, you have to understand that you are the one that is selling the service. That is where, we also say that I mentioned earlier that part of PR is managing relationships. You need to learn to manage that relationship. You need to learn. Yeah, it's difficult at times because yes, like you said, some customers will frustrate you, will try and push you to the wall. But you need to understand that you have more to lose. You have a business to protect. We're even lucky here in the Nigerian space. Outside Nigeria, you have platforms like Yelp, TripAdvisor, other kind of consumer platforms like that people can go and put reviews that will negatively affect your brand. So we're even lucky in Nigeria. We don't have those kind of things. So for those kind of situation you mentioned now, the next thing they'll probably do is jump on one of those platforms and
cancel you
and give a bad review.
But
if you are but if you are able to show the steps that you have done towards trying to appease these customers, guess what? The situation can even turn around and then people will be like, your own self is too much. They offered you, for instance, if it's a hotel, they offered you another free night stay. They gave you free food and you are still complaining. What else do you want them to do, you know?
Okay. My time is up. My time is up. What's the future of PR for upcoming people who want to be in PR? And what's the future of PR in Nigeria?
The future of PR in Nigeria is everything is going technological, everything is going digital now. So if you're a PR practitioner and you're still relying on the traditional means in terms of electronic, radio, print, I mean, you're setting yourself up for... but we're on radio, but I can see that we're live. I can see that we're live. And we're also going to be on social media. So radio is still very relevant, actually. But for instance, if you're still operating on the old model of, I'm going to write a press release and send it to a journalist, it's not going to work for you. I just finished a campaign now, and I can tell you that 80% of what I did was basically more digital and social media push. So you have to learn to move with the times and know how and where to reach your target market.
Okay. Thank you so much for speaking your truth strategically. Anyway, thank you so much for listening and tuning in. I want to give you, but I swallowed.
That's swallowed. My family is listening.
Shout out to everybody who is listening.
Shout out to my family. I want to make a special request to my mother and father.
That used to be a very good PR back then. That used to be a very, very good PR. Where we say, I want to make a shout out to my daddy and my mommy for bringing me to this place. We want it. Wow. Well. Till we come your way again, you've learned. Let's put a little bit to practice. Even if you don't have money for PR, goodwill is very important. It's almost like the new social capital where somebody can mention your name and it can really open doors for you. And if they see, people are people. I always say at the end of the program, create opportunities for people, because people they're different. Sometimes you tell people, okay, use wisdom. However it is, goodwill is very important. If you don't have money, you have mouth, you can help somebody, and you can, at least when you're helping people, we always say that we're selling ourselves every time. Well, always selling. Stop, as not stubborn as I am. I don't know where you got that from, but I chest it. Sell yourself well at every given time, to your families, to your uncles, to your aunties, and somehow, some would. How they don't disturb me. Go and come back first.
You're not stuck on PR.
No, I'm not. See, I will not answer you in December. Till we come your way again next Saturday, like we always see on Signals. Dream again, create opportunities for people. Have a wonderful week, and God bless.
Great one.